Well, the South Australian government continues to lobby for the state's toxic algal bloom to be declared a national disaster after matching a funding pledge from the Commonwealth. For more, let's bring in National Senator and Shadow Fisheries Minister Ross Cadell, who is back in Canberra. Ross, welcome to News Breakfast. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, James.
Now, you've just been down in South Australia seeing this for yourself. What would you like to see happen here?
I think we've got to come up with a new form of funding, because the traditional model of emergency funding and emergency declaration wouldn't actually get to the people that are needed to help with this. You know, you walk along the Ardrossan Wharf and you see garfish and King George whiting left and right on the ground just dying, but you talk to the businesses, you talk to the people. Your Sue from the Port Vincent gift shop down 14–15%. The Stansbury caravan park, in the 48 hours before I got there, 10 or 12 cancellations of November holidays because people are fearful of going in the water. So those businesses in the traditional category C and D funding model for disaster relief wouldn't be able to be funded because they haven't had financial expenditure to make good. So I think we need to have this inquiry that we have to get up today with Labor's support, which is fantastic, to actually look at new funding models for things like this.
Yeah, so do you think that this is a natural disaster? I mean, there's been a whole lot of debate about what the specific definition is, and the government says, well, it doesn't actually fit the definition, but of course Parliament has the power to change laws. Do you think this is something that does need to be changed?
Yeah, and that's why we want the inquiry. I think it does need to change. I think we need to do things that are out of the norm for things that are out of the norm. This is an algal bloom that happens regularly, but the size and scope of this makes it a natural disaster.
OK. The South Australian government has said that climate change is contributing to the severity of this bloom and could even make them more common. Do you think that's a risk?
I think the heating of the waters is something that's contributed to this. You can't. The three factors are exactly as the Premier said yesterday. The nutrients came up from the cold stream, the flooding that came through, and the slightly warmer waters. And this is all happening in winter. My fear is, and I love your weather report, that you've got the storms and the rain coming through in the next week. If it doesn't do that, and the water heats up if we get to spring and summer, this could be not over. This could be going some time. Yeah. So I think we really need to get into it and work out what we can do early, so we can fix it whenever it does happen. OK, the front page of The Australian has two of your colleagues, Michael McCormack and Barnaby Joyce, both former Deputy Prime Ministers, dumping on David Littleproud's leadership, which we might come to in a moment, but also criticising net zero. Now, you're reviewing the Nationals' net zero commitment with Matt Canavan. Do you personally want to drop the target? No, I want to go through the process that we're going through internally. I want to look at the benefits and the negative points of it. You know, I've seen communities that are under the burden of 200, 300 wind towers up there, and they're making their life a misery. But equally, I've sat there in a previous job, in a corporate job, sat across the table in a negotiation for loans and been charged a 1.25% premium for a $1 billion loan. Of course, our business was carbon adjacent. So there are swings and roundabouts on this, and that's why we're going to take a slower process, get through it. And I look forward to being part of that process with Matt and see how we go. What's
your personal view, though? Because most of your colleagues have already come out and declared a position. In fact, a lot of them have said, we want to get rid of net zero.
Well, there's a lot of people out there who want to grab headlines. There's people out there who want to do the work, and each to their own. I actually want to go through the process. I am open to looking at the evidence. I'm hoping to have a view, have where it is. But anecdotally, you know, the problems are, as a National Party MP, is the regions that bear the brunt of this, you know, almost entirely. We're out there, we are taking 28,000 kilometres for power lines, we're having these solar panels put on agricultural land, we're putting plans up for wind towers. And if it is to happen, if these renewable things are to happen, it's just being done poorly. There are ways to do things better, and that's something else we'll look at. Can we achieve it in a better way, rather than the way that the current government is doing?
Well, I guess to tie this all together back to the algal bloom, a lot of businesses there, farmers, fishers, say this is partly a result of climate change, or at least this could be coming more and more because of climate change. Maybe it's worse this time as a result because, as you say, the waters are warmer. What sort of message does that send, do you think, does your party send to those people in the regions who might be bearing the brunt of these severe events if you're kind of looking at walking back Australia's climate commitments?
Well, we're just reviewing it right now. We're not looking at our climate commitments or things like that. We're looking at the way it's being done by this government, which is without any care to regional people. I mean, one of the guys we're talking to down there swam 6 hours after a boat sinking to get to the shore probably 10 years ago, and this is a greater fear for him that he's caught 9 kilos of his 7.5 tonne stuff. The guys in the regions can't just fix everything for the cities. We feed you, we grow you. 2/3 of everything this country sells is done in the regions, and we're just thrown all this stuff. There has to be better equity for people in the bush, people in the regions, as part of this process. And even if we stay part of net zero, even if we leave it, it has to be done in a more equitable way.
Senator, just before I let you go, the two most prominent people in your party, at least Barnaby Joyce is one of them, I'd say that Michael McCormack might be the other. How helpful is it for them to be on the front page of the Australian newspaper throwing a bucket on net zero, but also, to be honest, throwing a bucket on your leader, David Littleproud?
We're Nats, we're a bit fiery, it all happens. I prefer it didn't happen, but that's the way they want to do it. It's
Does it make you look like a bit of a rebel, though? I mean, it's the first week back and kind of fighting internally over the spoils of opposition.
I think if they want to go out and make those things publicly, they can. Internally, we've had a party room, it didn't come up there. I think it was more a public-facing thing than an internal problem.
All right, so you're not worried about it?
No.
All right, Senator Ross Goodell, we do appreciate your time this morning and joining us for